for being here. It's so good to have you. Welcome, Facebook. This is the Civilized Presence, and you are in the right place at the right time. Just give us 1 second to be able to share this video of Facebook to make this video visible to everyone. Just give me 1 second, please. Good morning, Akin. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Good morning, Terry. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Just give us 1 second. Good morning, Morel from London, UK. Good morning, Paul. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Guys, we are on Facebook as well. Good morning, King. Good morning, Paul. Thank you for being here. So if you cannot hear us on Instagram, join us on Facebook on my page. Good morning, Cherry. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great. Good morning, Esther from Nigeria. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning, Charles from Ghana. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning, Sanya from Malaysia. Thank you for being here. Good morning, Ira from Canada. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, we're here bright and early, and I'm so excited this morning. If you've never been here, this is the Civilized Presence, and you are in the right place at the right time, okay? So I might be looking at two different systems, or three different systems, sorry. So just if you notice that I'm moving around, that's why. We have our Facebook family, we have our YouTube family, and we have our Instagram family. Good morning, Benjamin. Thank you for being here. So I am so excited. So welcome to the Civilized Presence. And this is the online TV session where lives are being changed, where people discover their self, purpose, and voice, and learn social skills that are required to thrive in the real world. Thank you so much, Muriel from London, UK. It's so good to have you here. So guys, we expect that you give us some support, give us some likes, give us some hearts if you are excited and happy to have Mr. Soriyan here, because I am so happy. It's a Monday morning in Virginia and the weather is not too bad. So of course I am very happy. Okay, great. Now, if you can hear us loud and clear, let us know that you can hear us by giving us a thumbs up, or just kind of comment in the box below and let me know that you can hear us. If you can hear me on Facebook, guys, let me know. Instagram, let me know if you can hear me. So, like I said, my name is Louisa Akaiso, and I am a certified Master Civility Trainer and a leadership coach and expert with the John Maxwell team. So if you want to know what I do, I work confidently with leaders and professionals that place great importance in themselves and their reputation. And that's going to be you this morning, because you made out time to be here. Now, I just want to let you know, hello, Nika, thank you so much for being here, that I'm truly honored and humbled, you know, with all of the work that we're being able to do here since the month of April when we started. And today is session number 61. You can hear us, but it's echoing. I'm so sorry, Ruth. I think it's because we have several systems here, but there is noise. I am so sorry. We're going to try to work on that. This is the Civilized Presence. So we try to do everything in a civil manner. So I'm going to try to make sure that I turn everything that's bringing the noise down. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Okay, so guys, I am very excited this morning that we have Mr. Soriyan here in our midst. So, like I said, give us a thumbs up. There's so much hearts going on Facebook. We are having fun. We are always here every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mr. Soriyan, who is here this morning, just in case you've never met him. But before I do that, Mr. Soriyan, can you just say hello to the audience quickly?
Hello, everybody. It's so much fun to be here today. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to real shifts happening here today. Louisa has been awesome, and she's doing an awesome work, and I'm learning so much about the impact that she's making here in the United States, and it's such a privilege to be part of our network and to make this happen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Soriyan. I am so honored that you said yes to be here this morning. So, guys, let me tell you a little bit about why he is so important to me and so great. He is one of the world's greatest resourceful talents. Mr. Soriyan is a leading public speaker, culture shaping influencer, and a mind engineer. He is also a mastermind, daily and internationally applying his unusual wisdom and ability to create optimism and freedom. He displays understanding and connection to invisible paths and trajectories of growth within individuals, groups, communities, and organizations. So, this is why he's so great and he is the best person to be on this show. Sorry, Benjamin said, you think it's only my voice that echoes. I'm going to work on that, Benjamin. Just give me some time. I'm going to do that, okay? Because I want you to enjoy the experience. But I apologize that this is happening. It's because we're in two different ends and you are in another end of the world, but we're going to make this happen. What's important is the message. But I just want to let you know that I do care about you and I love you so much. Thank you for making out time to be here. Thank you. So if it is your very first time,
do you have one of your devices down totally? Like one of the devices volume completely down? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think sometimes it takes a couple of minutes and things are just going to settle.
I hear you well.
Yes. So if it's your very first time, the main goal of this Facebook and Instagram series is really to help restore civility through meaningful and constructive conversation. And I have been doing this with my colleagues and some experts all over the world, like Mr. Soriyan today. The reason why is because we've had a lot of questions as people do not really have an understanding or see it as really complicated or such a great technical term when you ask people to be civil. And so I thought there was a need for us to kind of break it down into tiny little bits and get you to see how easy and important it is for you to be civil. So guys, I'm going to ask you a question. When was the last time that you said, thank you, I'm sorry, good morning, you look amazing? Those are tiny steps that we can take to become civil. So you see, it's not that hard, guys. Sometimes when you think about civility or think about etiquette, people think, oh, I can never be civil. But what I always say is that civility, and this is from our Golden Rule civility definition, is focused on positive people's treatments. You being responsible for easing the experience of the person next to you. Just paying attention to the next person. It's very important. Civility is the outcome of choosing behaviors that are congruent with your positive and personal values. Thank you so much, Sade. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Sandra, for being here. Thank you, Cynthia, for being here. I am so honored. Guys, we have a lot of people. So if I haven't mentioned your name, just know that I love you very much and I will get back to you very soon. So let me share an example with you. So I can teach you how to say sorry without explaining why it is important to apologize. And what happens is that you're going to go around the world with an impression that you can do whatever that you like, be disrespectful and rude. And when you're confronted, you can get away with just saying sorry. And so civility kind of teaches you the why and the how. It is value-based. It teaches you why it is so important to treat the other person the way you want to be treated. If it's easier for you to remember the golden rule, because a lot of us are very competent with the golden rule, so treat others the way you want to be treated. Civility is about being kind, sprinkling kindness everywhere that you go without expecting anything in return. So when you think about civility, you can think about human kindness. So doing good to the person next to you just because they're human, because they deserve it, because you choose love, because you choose kindness, not because you're going to get anything in return. And so this is why we're here every Mondays and Fridays, that if you have never been civil before, that's okay. You can begin right after this session. And we try to share great tiny nuggets that you can walk away with. And it will be easy for you to start up and embrace this new way of living. So back to you, Mr. Soriyan, and how this works is really that we get started with questions and begin the conversation. Sometimes we have a question from the audience and we just keep it going. So my very first question to you would be, What does civility mean to you? And feel free to use examples to
Yeah.
explain this concept. Over to you, Mr. Soriyan.
Thank you very much. Again, it's an honor to be here. And if I have to answer the questions about civility and what it means to me, I'll use three words. I would say courtesy, I would say politeness, most importantly, I would say connection. Now, it's so easy for you to exchange with people every day and assume that connection is happening. Okay, so I say to people every time, if what you see is all you see, you are blind. And if what you hear is all that you hear, you are deaf. And there is a way that people can accept you on a shallow basis because of the compelling experience that you are having at that moment. For example, if you are the boss in an environment, people will defer to you naturally, even at your highest level of unguardedness or at the highest level of indiscipline or whatever it is. He that pays the piper pretty much dictates the tune. So a lot of times when you are in your power zone, it's easy for you to assume that you are being accepted and that you are connecting and that you are being heard. But really, people just have the humility to contain their rebellion because really they are not in any way at peace with the way that you are exchanging. And so we need that alertness every time to understand that people have a right to their difference. I've said it again and again. Nobody in this world and this life as a whole will not reward you for your similarities. You'll be rewarded for your difference. The world does not accept you, reward you, right? Promote you, celebrate you for our similarities, but for our difference. And so it's so key that we respect the truth that our difference is our critical success factor, difference is your critical relevance factor, and difference is your critical value factor. And when you understand that, you don't just accept your own difference, you give room to the difference of others. And that allows participatory ideology. It gives us the centeredness to be able to rent a space in everybody's heads and give them the attention and the value their individuality deserves per time. And that is key. For me, that is the only way to interact, and that is the only way to build that culture of civility. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Soriyan. That was great. Civility is courtesy, politeness, and connection. So if you didn't get that, we have it in the comment and Instagram family. Can someone just chuck it in the comment for those who will be watching this on replay? And that's why we like you to be very interactive. And thank you so much, Kosiyar. Kosishia. I'm sorry if I get the name wrong, but I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Dr. Brandt, for being here. It's so good to have you. Thank you. So, guys, before we continue, I'll share another definition from Dr. Forney, and he's the grandfather of civility, really. Thank you so much, Olivia, for being here. Thank you, Mali. Thank you, Lucia Speaks, for being here. And it states that being civil means being constantly aware of others and weaving restraint, respect, and consideration into the very fabric of this awareness. So civility is a form of gracious goodness, okay? So when you come into the show, we try to share as much as we can, different kind of definitions, because you might not understand mine and you might grab the one from Mr. Soriyan, and we will just keep throwing different things. And we believe that by the time you leave the show, you're fully packed and loaded and ready to face the world. So guys, before I continue with the next question, hello, Onaivi, thank you so much for being here. Grab your pen and papers and try to get a cup of coffee or your bottle of water or whatever that's going to help you. Because when we have Mr. Soriyan, let me tell you guys, even a phone call with Mr. Soriyan, I need a pen and paper to put it down. So you need to grab a pen and paper because he's just going to be dropping great nuggets and you're getting it for free. Are you kidding? So try to grab your pen and paper and put this down, because the topic of today, I don't know how many of you had seen the post. The topic of today is going global. And that is very important. A lot of us that are on the line right now are professionals, entrepreneurs, work in organizations. And sometimes we struggle with being able to succeed globally. Oh, some of us have actually shut it down and just felt, I cannot do it. I just have to work in my local space. Well, After today's session, you would gain enough nuggets and tips that's going to help you succeed in the global world. So the next question for you, Mr. Soriyan, is that traditionally, many companies have stayed focused in their domestic markets and have refrained from competing globally. Now, what does entrepreneurs and organizations need to do to go global? Over to you, Mr. Soriyan.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so there is an assumption that when you are international and you find yourself in different societies and different communities and different nations, automatically you are global. Now, that's an assumption. An assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. We have to transcend the limits of assumption to build truth and build facts, right? Assumption will be key for us to be able to lay the foundations for truth and facts. Now, part of why people don't go global and they stay local is because local is cool. Local is cool, and there's a place for that. If you are not well localized, then there may not be any point going global, right? But at times, some of us just get unnecessarily content with local, particularly if you are in a country, a first world country like the United States. You are in the most powerful economy in the world. It's so easy for you to find contentment in over 200 million people that are available for you to reach out to at any point in time and expand your market in. But if you think global, you have to transcend that limits. Part of how it works is for a lot of third world countries, for example, you find organizations, banks, and companies crossing a border to another country and opening shop in Paris or opening shop in the United Kingdom. And then they begin to express themselves and change their narrative to being global just because they've passed the test of geography, of appearing in another locale. Now, I've said it again and again, the strength of a material is in its universal appeal. It means that essentially a shoe has to be a shoe in every country. It has to be a shoe in every region. It doesn't matter if it's raining or it's snowing, you have to be a shoe everywhere. If I'm a shoe in Lagos, Nigeria, and I am a wristwatch in Ghana, then there's something wrong with that fabric. Everybody has to agree that you are a shoe, regardless of where you find yourself in, whether you are in Syria or you are in Iraq or you are in peaceful Switzerland. You have to be a shoe. There's a constancy to your fabric that defines the strength of what you have. In other words, if you are a millionaire, for example, in a lot of Naira, and you are not a millionaire in pounds, you are not a millionaire, right? So you are strengthened by the weakness of your environment that defines the strength of what you have. When you are a millionaire in every currency, whether it's pounds, whether it's dollars, you are a millionaire everywhere. Now, part of what this also means is that when you are global, it means that people of diverse cultures are investing in your product or in your idea. If you say you are global and only the people in a locale are investing, interacting, and putting purchasing power on your ideas or on your products or services, then you are not global yet. Global has to mean that you are exchanging value with people of diverse cultures. For example, it's not just Americans who buy Windows from Microsoft. It's not just Japanese people who invest in Toyota or in Honda. It's not just Koreans who buy Samsung or Kia or Hyundai. It's not just Germans who invest in Mercedes-Benz or BMW, right? Everybody in the world of different tongues, of different languages, invest in that particular product. Even the gospel of Jesus Christ is global because you have people of diverse tongues, people of diverse cultures, all right, are investing in that idea. Islam is the same thing. You have different product ideas all over the world. Democracy did not start from Africa, did not start from it didn't start from everywhere. It began from somewhere. Capitalism and all these great ideas have been bought by people of diverse cultures. An idea is global, an organization is global, a product is global when people of diverse cultures are investing in it. Now, when you have an idea that only Americans are buying or only Nigerians are buying, and you are in London or you are in France, you are international, but you are not global yet. What it means is that you have created a little kiosk that people, locals of your kind in another country can find association with. In other words, you are providing comfort for locals in another country. You are not global until the Frenchman is going into your idea, until the Japanese is going in, the Chinese is going in, and everybody is going in. So when we say something is global, we have churches, you have companies that are spread all over the world, but they are just doing business with their kind, and they are yet to cross the border, right, of that multicultural exchange. Now, when we get that straight, that is the foundation of the thinking about global. The other thinking about global is to be able to create so much power in a zone such that power in a zone can comfort weakness in another zone, right? That is having that kind of strength that what is going on in Nigeria. I'll give you an example. When BlackBerry was having a lot of challenges in America and the business was struggling a lot, part of what they had to do was to lean on their African business because the Nigerian business in particular was booming big time. And that kept them alive for a very long time because they are global. They have a business in America that is struggling, but they have the same business in Africa, in Nigeria, that is doing so well. And so they're able to use the power zone in Nigeria to comfort the weakness going on in America, right? That is part of being global. But the essential philosophy for that is to understand that when you are global, then people of diverse cultures are investing in you. So if you have a Nigerian church, for example, in America, that only Nigerians are attending, that is an idea that has crossed a border, is in a different country, yes. It is international, yes. But it's not global yet until people of diverse cultures. But however, if the vision of the organization is to provide comfort for locals in another country, then they are doing well. They are doing very well. However, if that is not the vision, and the vision is to spread their value to people everywhere, then they are failing in that commitment. So part of how that has to work is to accept that our product can be received. So I say to Africans every time, a delicacy like amala in Lagos, like in Western Nigeria, can go global, right? Tuwo can go global, right? And jollof rice is going global already, right? And part of how that is going to work is to understand that macaroni or spaghetti were not global delicacies. These were Italian delicacies. They were strictly Italian, right? The Italians took their products and used three variables on that product. No matter what you have, once you keep that thing recognizable by the world, which is branding, and you keep it transferable around the world, right? And then you keep it rewardable because once you pass the test of recognizability and you pass the test of transferability, automatically you are going to experience rewardability. That's the way it works. So an idea must first of all pass the test of recognizability, meaning that people everywhere must be able to recognize that product or that service or that idea as valuable to them, right? And that is what they did with spaghetti. We don't eat ketchup. In our ancestors never had ketchup, right? But somebody branded ketchup and made it a critical part of our delicacy in Africa, right? So all of these things can move, and a Caucasian in Chicago can sit down consuming kenke of Ghana or consuming eba, from Western Nigeria or dikaikon. But we have to sit down to ask ourselves questions about how can it pass the test of recognizability and transferability. That's the way it works. However, there is a maybe I should pause and take your comments on that. But I want to talk about how all of this is boxed into diversity and culture. And that's where civility comes in. Maybe I'll take that on the next question.
Thank you so much. That was so powerful. And thank you so much, Coco, for being here from Virginia. Thank you so much, Adeinka. Thank you so much, Omotox, Linder, Mainspire, Hassan, Sid. Thank you for being here. Adesade, thank you for being here. Efe, thank you for being here. Justy B, thank you for being here. Joe, thank you. Ojonogwa, Nkaiso, Wisdom, Oluwasenu, Captain Lotman, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. You are on to the Civilized Presence if you are just joining for the very first time. And we are here every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the topic, if you're just joining, is going global. So I can see a lot of entrepreneurs on the line, and welcome. You're in the right place. And I know that you want to take out your idea, that great idea that you have, the concept that you have, and make it global. So this is where you're going to learn the how to do it, so that you don't imagine that it's global and it's really not, because that's what's been happening. So we're right here to kind of try to bridge that gap and make things run a lot smoother for everyone. Hello, identity coach. Thank you so much for being here. It's so good to have
Sorry,
you in the
I need to
house.
get something charged up here. Just a minute.
That's fine. That's fine. Perfect. So, guys, if you're just joining us for the very first time, I mean, just hang on tight and you will have access to this video right after we are done on Instagram. It's going to be here for another 24 hours. But if you're on Facebook and you still want to have access to the video, my page is So Unique Experts, and you can follow me on that page, on my business page, or on my personal page, which is Louisa Akaiso. And you can also have access to this video on YouTube. We're right on YouTube as well. So we're everywhere, and you can have fun with us every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the topic is going global. So back to you, Mr. Soriyan. I have another question for you.
Yeah, please.
Now, going global, like you explained, either as a business entrepreneur, involves navigating new horizons. In the course of this, I know that people would face cultural resistance, amongst other things. So, how should they manage this, and what can help with this? Over to you, Mr. Soriyan.
Yeah, yes, because when you begin to consider going global, civility becomes a critical instrument for you to blend the types of unique diversity that you're going to have to manage, because people have a right to their choices. They even have a right to their foolishness. Foolishness is a human right. That you have to accept that somebody will be foolish for wisdom to continue to have value. There's nothing you can do about that. If you live your life based on the assumption that positivity must be the experience that you must be offered, then you are making a terrible assumption, because some people don't want you. They don't want you for reasons best known to them. Some people love you. They love you for even the wrong reasons. Some people love you for the right reasons. Yours is not to sit in their heads and determining the value that you understand based on their interpretation. No, even when the interpretation favors you, it may not have longevity. And so you may need to grow a little bit more and expand your view by understanding that, look, you have an idea that is very critical for you to spread around the world. This idea is so powerful that it can unlock gratitude in society. You have to take that, first of all, because in civility, you want to understand that it's about the multiplication of good, right? So part of what you want to do is to create an environment that everybody can nest in. It's so key that we all understand that. And the way the Nigerian is looking at a subject is different from the way the guys from the United Kingdom are looking at it, or the Americans are looking at it, or the Germans are looking at it. The other day, I was flying, and I had a very unique experience. You know, somebody was sitting on my seat, and because he got into the flight before me, and then I just went to the guy and politely said to the guy, sorry, that's my seat. And the guy just went boom on me, you know. Yeah, I know it's your seat, but, you know, and he just went on and blasted on me. And I was wondering, what's it with this guy? I spoke politely. I said, sorry, you know, this is my seat. And then he needed to get up. Why will this guy be this mad at me? You know, but he got up and then I sat down. The guy behind me then tapped me and said, do I understand what just happened? I said, honestly, I need feedback on that, because I don't even understand what happened. And he said, you used the word sorry. And he said, sorry to him was me shading him. It's like, I know you are so comfortable on that seat, but sorry, you are going to get up. That what he wanted to hear was, excuse me, you know, that was my seat. I said, oh my God, you know, I've never thought about that. And he said, in that situation, excuse me is more connecting than sorry. You know, sorry can be interpreted in many ways. And I was hearing that after about 40 years of existence. I mean, I thought seeing 10 years 4 times would be a critical advantage for interpreting life. But I was so stunned. I was so stunned that I was meeting that concept for the first time. It's helped me because I actually realized in that moment that the word excuse me was more definite, was clearer, and it embraced my intentions more than the word sorry. Now, as simple as that is, if that was a boardroom or that was a business exchange and I was coming to that zone for the first time, that guy would cancel me immediately for the one statement that I've used wrong, right? So for me, that's key. That's part of what we are talking about. And the way I would drive that home is to begin to understand, particularly for third worlders, right? We have a very unique experience, particularly for Africans, especially. We have a unique experience in that in Nigeria alone, for example, we have over 200 languages, right? Over 200 languages. We have a powerful concept in Africa called indigenization. In America, for example, there's no concept of indigenization, which explains why 2 brothers from the same family can be governors in 2 different states. The Bush brothers, between Jeb Bush and George Bush, both of them could be governors in 2 different states in America. In Africa and in Nigeria especially, that is practically impossible. Why? Because once you are 2 brothers, it means you are from the same ethnicity. And that also means that you can only be governors from where you are from. So if you are from Lagos State, for example, you cannot be the governor of Kano State or Kaduna State. For you to be the governor of Kaduna State, you have to pass the test of indigenization. Now, what that is doing to us as a people is that people are, first of all, from the where they are indigenized than the Nigerian concept. So you find that somebody is, first of all, a Yoruba person before he's a Nigerian, right? Then within the Yoruba culture, is now either from Ijebu, or it's from Ondo, or it's from Ilesha. And you find that the Lagosian is, first of all, from Agarawu in Lagos Island, before he's from Lagos, right? These things divide us. Why? Because there is no constructive legislation to ensure that these diversities are well blended. The most prosperous economy in the world, look at this, the most prosperous economies in the world are not struggling with indigenization. They are not dealing with that level of complex diversity. And when you understand that the origin of language in itself is it's a symposium discussion. But what is true is that because of the test of indigenization, we are losing so much to how much we can define our collective experiences and our collective value. This is where civility comes in. While we are waiting for governments to get it right by ensuring that when I'm a Nigerian, the value I bring in my individuality, right, should be superior to the language that I speak. The experience of meritocracy that I bring into any environment at any point in time should be more important than where I'm from, right? Our governments are struggling to define that value and blend that diversity. Civility is such a powerful instrument that can help us to transcend, right, the blocks that these situations create. And part of that, like I said, is 3 words for me. The first one is courtesy. The second one is just left my mind now. Politeness
and connection.
And the third one is connection, right? Now, how does that work? First of all, we need to build acceptance. We need to create trust, right? Everywhere we find ourselves. People need to meet you before you say a word and just feel. You see, part of what people don't understand is that thoughts have a presence. Thoughts have a presence. And people think people don't understand you until you explain. There's something called non-verbal cues. And life is about energy. You don't need to say anything. If you don't like me, I'm going to feel it. You could act it up. I'm trained not to hear what you say, but what to hear first, what you mean that you don't say, right? And there is a sense in which I can hear what you mean that you don't say. As a matter of fact, people rarely hear what you say. People hear what you mean more than what you say. And so if you limit yourself to the technicality of conversation, you will miss moments. You will miss powerful moments. And your job, never forget, is to live in such a way that you can rent a space in the heads of those who are around you, right? And manage two things. There are two things you want to manage at every point in time. The imagination of those around you and their impulses. You want to manage their imagination and their impulses. And for you to manage imagination and impulses, you do that through word and imagery. You do that through word and imagery. Now, imagery is what you allow them to see. Word is what you allow them to say, what you allow them to hear. Between what they see and what they hear, they create how they feel, right? Every day they create how they feel. And so you want to stay in control of what people see and what people hear. Now, the amazing thing is that what they see is completely within your control. It's what you put out, right? That people see. So in the way you carry yourself, in the way you appear, even the way you dress, the way you conduct yourself, the way you sit, you can say so many things. And there are courses. I need to say that this 1 hour or these 2 hours is not where we're going to learn all that we need to learn about how to manage presence. But there are courses out there. There are people all over the world. In Nigeria, there's a lady called Yetunde Bankole Bernard, identity coach. She's doing a lot in that area. There are people I know in South Africa, in Ghana, in the United States. Here, Louisa is bringing a massive idea to Africa very soon on civility, and most of these things are going to be taught. There are courses online that people need to stretch to understand. But listen, when you grow in your honest self-evaluation and you are able to come to terms with the gaps in your operation as to how you can rent a space in the heads of people and determine how they see you and how they see the world from there, what you control is imagination and their impulses. Microsoft is doing this well. In Google, they are doing it well. In Facebook, they are doing it well. All the companies you see around the world. Do you know, for example, that people pride themselves in their love for Toyota? And then some people pride themselves. I don't like Toyota. I like Lexus. I prefer Lexus. Guess what? Toyota is taking all the money. Whether you buy Toyota or you buy Lexus, you are still buying Toyota. Some people say, oh, I just love, let me give you another example. I love Honda. I prefer Honda to an Acura. Acura is too loud. Well, the same guy taking the money from Honda is the same guy taking the money from Acura. What am I trying to say? This is a guy that has understood the difference in people. And part of how that works is to build products that work for their different preferences. When you are able to meet preferences, that means that you are transcending the limits of prejudice, which is your own personal preferences, and embracing the preferences of others. It means that you are really ready to take the world. And if you get into a Chinese restaurant in China, you find out that you are tasting something different from the Chinese restaurant in Lagos. And then if you get to the Chinese restaurant in Dubai or in New York, you are getting something completely different. The idea is, I mean, the same thing goes for the cars. You have American spec cars, you have European spec cars, you have cars that are built critically for Africa, like the Peugeot machine. So how this is working is people see the value of difference. And I've said it again and again. Nobody respects you. Nobody gives you your place because of our similarities. We are rewarded for our difference. Our difference is our critical relevance factor, value factor, and greatness factor. So to create acceptance and build participation, we must go out of our way to understand that it is left to us to choose what people see and what people hear. And that is what creates how they feel about what we do. And then it was Maya Angelou that said, it doesn't matter how you make people, what you give to people every day. I'm not putting it verbatim now, but it's verbatim now. It said, what is most important in your life is how you make people feel. People will not remember you for what you said. They won't even remember too much of what you did. They will not remember too much about whatever you told them. What they will never forget is how you make them feel. And that, for me, is the summary of what civility is about. Is that lasting experience that you live with people, that lasting positive experience that you make them feel about their own high. What you want to do every time, every contact you make with people, is to create an experience for them that compel them to see themselves in a more valuable way, and of course to accept you in the container that you prefer. That's the way it works. Yeah, that's the way it works.
Thank you so much, Mr. Soriyan. I'm just going to say I have a question for everyone that's on the show. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for being here on this show, because without you being here on this show, really the show will not go on. But I have a question for you. What are you doing every day to make the world a better place? Yes, we're different, but are you making a difference with your difference? I'm going to go back to some of the people who have jumped on board. I have Lushala. Thank you so much for being here. Black Michelle, thank you so much for being here. Baron Kash and Nanki, thank you so much for being here. OG, thank you. I have Ian, thank you so much for being here. Imu J, thank you so much for being here. Efe Paula.
On Instagram, that I think.
Thank you for being here. Benu Productions, thank you. You are amazing. Wale Ogunjubi, thank you. Timmy, thank you. Floor Nuts, thank you. Sikoni, thank you from Guyana. It's so good to have you in the house. And hello, Dee from Virginia. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, this is a civilized presence. If you're just jumping on, that's okay. You're going to have access to this video. And this is why I'm looking at different screens, because we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram. Okay, so you can catch us everywhere. It doesn't matter where you want to be at. We are there live every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The topic of today is going global. So I can see a lot of entrepreneurs, and I really want to say thank you for making our time to be here. But if you want to take your business globally, this is the place to be. Mr. Soriyan has shared so much great nuggets ever since we started. Yes, Sikoni, this is great information. I tell you, Mr. Soriyan, I told you he is amazing. And I have another question for you, Mr. Soriyan.
Yes.
You have spoken about people's treatment, positive people's treatment. You've spoken about self-awareness or self-leadership, if you permit me to call it that, or communication. Now, another question that I would like to ask, and hello, Tony, hello, Helene, hello, Efer, hello, Dania, thank you so much for being here. Guys, people are trying to leave me questions in my inbox. I cannot go to my inbox to deal with the questions. Drop it in the comment box below, okay? Because I want to be able to give it to Mr. Soriyan right now. You don't want to bring the questions when he's gone. The expert is in the house, so you have to be here. Okay? And hang on tight. We have some great announcements towards the end of the show. Hello, Helene from Canada. That's one of our master civility trainers. It's so great to have you in the house today. Thank you. Now, another question that I have for you would be, as local businesses, of course, they can succeed in their domestic markets, okay?
Yeah.
What do they need to understand to make fundamental changes in the way that they have worked for them to be able to compete globally? So let's say we've been doing the wrong thing forever, and we're ready to make the shifts.
Yes.
What are those key steps that we have to take? Over to you.
Great. So when it's time to go global, first of all, somebody threw a question on Instagram and was trying to say, asking questions about the word sorry and the word excuse. See, the point in that particular example is to understand that there are different experiences that determine value in different locales, in different communities, in different nations, right? And you owe it to yourself to respect that. For example, in Nigeria, for example, in the western part of Nigeria, you want to say hello to an elder, you pretty much have to prostrate if you are a guy, or you have to kneel down if you are a lady, right? That is what works for the Yoruba person. However, if you meet the Queen of England and you want to prostrate, the Secret Service will bind you up immediately, right? They're going to bind you up immediately because the assumption is you are trying to attack the Queen, right? You give a handshake. Nobody expects you to prostrate. So the way that is working is for us to come to that place of value that we are able to give each one the space and the attention their individuality deserves, right? Please excuse me. I just need like 2 seconds. Somebody is knocking my door. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I'm going to get back to that.
That's fine. Thank you, guys. And you were here at the Civilized Presence. Just hang on tight. Mr. Soriyan is going to be with us again. And if you're just joining, yes, we have another question from Facebook. Thank you so much, Sikani. And he will get to that question momentarily. If you're just joining us, okay, we're here. That's fine.
I needed to attend to something. Okay, so the question again, Louisa, is can you just help me again?
You had one question on Instagram, and someone was okay. Yeah. So the other question had to do with how can we make the shift?
I get it.
Yes,
exactly. So the first thing you need to do is to answer the question of why do you want to go global? Why do you need to go global? Now, let me say this. This is very important. If you are in a zone, let's take this example. You live in a 3-bedroom apartment. You live in a 3-bedroom apartment. And then all you ever do for 25 years of living in that apartment is to come in through the door, go to your bedroom, or use the kitchen, or use the restroom, and then go out of the door. There are 2 other rooms in that apartment you never visit. Don't forget, it's your apartment. You paid for it. You have the right to go into the 2 rooms, but you never go into the 2 rooms. For 25 years, you've lived in that apartment, and all you have ever done is to come in through the door, go to your bedroom, or go to your kitchen, or to your restroom. You never go into those 2 other rooms. And you've done so for 25 years. Imagine that there is a CCTV in that room, in that apartment, covering the activities, and then some other people are watching what is going on in that flat, and they have been observing you that for 25 years you have 2 rooms in your bedroom that you pay for and you never go into. What picture will that cut out? I'm sorry to say, but that's going to look like there's some type of disorder. You know, some may even go to the extreme of concluding lunacy of some sort. Nobody's going to accept that as normalcy, right? Because it's your room. There's a reason why you paid for 3-bedroom, and then for 30 years, for 25 years, for 40 years, you never step into the 2 other rooms that you pay for and you have a right to go into. Now, as weird as that looks, that is what we do when we are born in Chicago, and all we ever do, right, is to stay in Chicago all our life. When we are born in Texas, and all we ever do is to sit in Texas and never see what is going on in New York, or what is going on in Brazil, or what is going on is the world. We are global citizens. We have the right to see the world. We have the right to experience the differences around the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discount the place of contentment. There is a place for that. However, there's also a disadvantage in embracing that in the extremes, so that you can be so content with where you are. You embrace what is happening. You miss what is going on. And you need to extend beyond what is happening that you see and take a peep into what is going on around the world. And I say to people, if you live, for example, in a country with a global passport, like the Singaporean passport. The Singaporean passport has just been voted as the most powerful passport in the world. That gives you access to over 150 countries in the world. That's so much power. You can't have such an instrument and live all your life somewhere in a Singaporean city. I mean, you got to see what is available. Why do you have? There's a place for purpose. That means that capacity should not visit you except you have a reason for its application. Now, when there's capacity resident in your life, you must ask yourself, why do I have this capacity? Because you have to build capacity for you to offer support. It is the person that is well that can donate blood. And when you are well, when there's a wellness in your life, you have the resources to be able to share your wellness with the world by donating your blood. But if you live to the value your blood brings only to you, then people will die in the world, not because they should die, but because somebody with capacity to embrace them and give them continuity has refused to see that connection. Now I'm going somewhere. Part of how that is working is to know that when man was created, I mean, maybe 20,000 years ago, maybe 100,000 years ago, maybe some 500 years ago, I don't know, there will be no need for visas anywhere in the world, right? Visas are human inventions. I define a visa as a powerless instrument in the hand of a foreigner to cross the border to another country, spend a lot of money, and return to his country. That is what a visa is. A visa is a powerless instrument in the hand of an individual to cross border to another foreign country, spend a lot of money, and return to his country. Because there's something more powerful than that. And that's what I want to talk about. In the world, when human beings were created, when we started our journey as human beings, we didn't have visas. Every human being has the right to multiply, to spread, to go everywhere in the world. Visa is a human invention in response to human unguardedness. Visa is a human invention in response to human unguardedness. It is the way human beings have used the world and used privileges in other environments that has forced the owners of that environment to erect walls.
Mr. Soriyan, could you please, I'm so sorry, can you please connect on Instagram? We lost you on Instagram.
Oh.
Yes, please. We just lost you on Instagram.
Am I back there?
I'm waiting for you to come on.
I should be back now.
Yes, so let's see what happens.
Okay, it's trying to come on.
Okay. And we can restart that.
Let me
Perfect.
get that.
I still have people jumping on. Hello. Yeah. Oluwalotolani. Thank you so much for being here. Hello. Lekados. Thank you for being here. Hello. Omoloya. Thank you for being here. Hello. 22K. Miss Gee, Billy Prader, Timmy, King Mascot, Olami. Thank you so much. Hello, Maj Gudu. Different Speaks. Thank you for being here. We are just trying to get Mr. Soriyan back on. Are you back on Instagram?
Yeah, I've connected. I'm just waiting for that to happen. I don't know.
Okay. And if you cannot get him, you can join us on Facebook. We're right here. Hello, Fimi. Thank you so much for being here. If you cannot get on, you can join us on Facebook. It's So Unique Experts. It's the same thing on Instagram. Or you can look for me on Louisa Akaiso. The video is made public. Okay. And I'm just going to restart this. Let us continue, Mr. Soriyan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it happen again.
On Instagram, but it's not connecting yet.
That's fine. And so we're back live again. So you can try to, yes. Okay. So if you can comment on the Instagram and I'll bring you back on.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Please, maybe you guys should try and come on Facebook. I don't know what is going on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you guys can come on Facebook, but
perfect.
I'll try to connect back on Instagram.
Hello. Yes. If you say a quick hello, if you come into the video, I should be able to add you back on. Just try that. Welcome, guys. Just give us a minute. We're trying to get this sorted. I'm not sure what's going on here. Yes, so just say a quick hello or just give me a quick wave and I will bring you back on the screen. And if you're on Facebook, you can follow me on So Unique Experts or Louisa Akaiso. And this video is live on Facebook right now. And you can have access to this. Guys, we don't want to lose this great content. Come on, guys. Hello, Billy Prader. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Yes. Are you able to get on or your connection is not so happy?
I think you need to, because I'm trying to log out now, maybe you need to send me a request or something.
Okay. Yes. Absolutely. We're doing this. No. So you are not on yet. So it's not letting me do that. It kind of works differently with Instagram. Guys, I am so sorry that this is happening.
I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry. Just hang on tight. Just 1 minute. We'll be back. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on Instagram. What I did before was to see you, and then I clicked you live, and then I got in.
Yes.
But I can see you, but I can't see that live button.
Thank you for all the help. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yes. So can you see me live right now or no?
I can see you on Facebook, but on Instagram, I cannot see that live button. There's a live button on your profile picture that I clicked before.
Okay, guys, can you just jump back to Facebook? Okay, jump on Facebook and let's just continue this party. So, Mr. Soriyan, let's get going.
Great. So I was just talking about a concept. I was talking about, I said visas is not natural. The visa equation is a human invention in response to human unguardedness. Visa is a human invention to manage human abuse of privilege, right?
Yes.
And so when visas were erected and people began to embrace the unfairness of things like trade, because what is going on in the world today is that it's easier for maybe a British citizen to come to Africa than it is easy for an African to go to the United Kingdom, right? Those are challenges of globalization. But naturally, the concept for human exchange is borderlessness. There's a borderless equation in human exchange that we have to come back to every time. And so when we work to attain a status that empowers us to see the world and go around the world without limits, people talk about relocation, but it's not about relocation as it is about restoration. When you attain such a status and you are able to create such power for yourself, what you have done is to return yourself to that design of nature where you have the power to move around the world. By that, I'm not asking people to abandon their countries or, and run away. I'm saying, and I'm going to give a very crude example for this. I'm going to give a very crude example for this. And please permit me, I don't agree with the evil of this very organization. I condemn with every passion in me what they represent and what they do. However, there's something in what they do that I think we should note. And that organization is Evil ISIS, right? Evil ISIS. Now, Evil ISIS does not have business cards. They don't do presentations. They don't have complimentary cards. They don't have websites and all of the instruments of connection that we have on a daily basis. But guess what? These guys are building teams across the world without the privilege of classrooms. They are not traveling around the world, sending trainers to different locations to train people. They are on one spot. And on one spot, they are creating such terrible ideology that people that are giving themselves to professional training as doctors, as lawyers, as engineers are terminating their lives for a cause that is essentially untrue, right? The principle in that evil is to understand that these guys are on one spot. They are not moving around the world. They are not touring the world. They don't have agents, you know, moving and going from country to country. They didn't set up such structures. But on one spot, that is the principle of borderlessness, meaning that you can create so much value from where you are, and the world can be feeling the impact of what you do. This transcends, right, the limitations that visas operate. And the strength of this commitment is technology. It's technology. Technology, right, can make a small business in Gabon to culture is operations in such a way that guys in faraway Mombasa or India or New York can be investing in that idea from one spot, right? So if you want to go global, you have to ask yourself some basic questions. The first thing is, what good do I want to multiply? What value will the Americans receive from the value I bring into that economy? What difference am I contributing? A lot of the problems in America economically has been sorted. So what am I bringing that can unlock the excitement, the humility, and the curiosity of the Americans to find my product or my idea valuable? What is it I can take to Nigeria that can connect to the over 180 million people in that environment and get them excited? Don't forget, there are actors and action figures already in those countries who are trying to multiply value as well. So why should your difference be embraced? You have to be clear about the difference that you bring. You have to be so clear about the value that you bring. That is why Google has gone out of its way to not only present its own ideas to the world, but present it in a way that everywhere in the world can receive. So there is Hausa language on Google. You can browse in Igbo on Google. You can browse in Yoruba on Google. You can browse in Ashanti on Google. You can browse in French on Google, right? BBC has BBC in English, but they've also stretched to have, and this will excite Nigerians, BBC in Pidgin. You have BBC in Hausa, you know, and these ideas are deliberate commitments to go global. So you have to ask yourself the next question. Once you define your good that you are bringing to the world, the next question is, how do I want to be heard? How do I want to be heard? You know, how do I want to be received? When we say here, we are talking about the experience that you communicate on a daily basis. And part of that, ladies and gentlemen, is to be a monopoly. I know that a lot of people don't understand the concept of monopoly, but trust me, if you are going global, there's no point going anywhere if you are not ready to be a monopoly of some sort. That does not mean you shouldn't allow others in your space. That means cutting out your difference in such a way that what you offer cannot be duplicated by somebody else. The meaning of that is, don't compete with price. If you compete with price, you will cut the margin so low that you will have nothing to cut again. Everybody competing with price is going to die. It's only a matter of time. Every business competing with price will die eventually. It's an idea with a lifespan. It has an expiry date. You can't continue to communicate your value by how lower you can offer what you do. All right. So again, you can't compete with any other thing but the value you bring. And when you bring value to an environment and you give an experience that nobody else can offer, the price you put on that is what I call perceived value. You can put anything on it and people will accept it because there's no comparison product to bring close to that thing to be able to say, oh, somebody is offering it for this price or somebody is doing this and that. And if you can't go within you to find how authentic your ideas is, you really will not be able to express that. But take something authentic global. Take something authentic as global, right? So when you do that, the next thing you now need to think about is culture, right? Where do I want to go in the world? How do they think in those environments? Colors can mean a lot to people, right? Some people don't like red. For example, I can tell you for free that if you use red and black in some African countries, they just see you as ritualistic. That just sends amber right out that, oh, maybe this guy is a cultist or this guy is you know, into voodoo or some sort. Because in all the movies or the African movies, In every room you go to where the herbalists are, there's always red and black. The dressing is always red and black. So in a very subliminal way, people have received that mindset that it has to be black and red means something evil. So if you are going to Africa and you throw that color out in the extreme, you better have another type of swag that will communicate something else to the people. Otherwise, they're just going to conclude, you know, as to what you represent or who you are. So the idea is in greeting, in building trust, in building traction, in accepting, in people accepting you, in building participation. You have to understand what is going on in that environment. What are the things that are most critical for people? For example, Microsoft is doing a lot in Nigeria in its business, but Microsoft is also solving the polio problem in Nigeria and attacking it. They are communicating something in northern Nigeria, which without that, they may not be able to drive a type of relevance that represents their own ideals as a global organization. So in every society that you go, you want to understand that. There are so many other things that you have to pay attention to, and I'll run through some pretty quick. Apart from what I've defined, you also need to brand for the environment you are going to. Don't dress for where you are coming from, dress for where you are going. So you need to be clear about what you are going and how you brand for that. The design that you use, if you put animals in your logo, you better be sure it's acceptable in that environment, and all of that. The way you put out your CSR, your corporate social responsibility in a community. For example, I got into a city here, and I'm trying to, in America, I'm setting up a nonprofit. And I just can't sit in my room, look at my passion and say, oh, I love kids. I want to do something for kids. And then I set up a nonprofit for kids in my new city here. If I do that, that may not be what the city wants to solve. That may not be what the city is feeling. So what did I do? I went to the mayor of the city to ask questions about what is important for the city. It's beyond what I feel. It's what the city wants. So what is the city thinking about? What are the challenges? Is it about women? Is it about girls? Is it about boys? Is it youth-focused thing? What is the city thinking about? I want to set up a nonprofit to meet the challenges of the city, right? That is how we have to think. I can do that on my own terms in my house, or I can hear the voice of the system by connecting to that. This is how I put it. You don't swim on your own terms. When you jump into the swimming pool, you don't insist on swimming this way. If you jump into the pool and you stand this way, because you are an adult, you will have your way. But you are also going to drown on your terms. Before you can jump to the swimming pool, you need two things. You need to know the protocol of swimming, and then you need to know how to align with the protocol of swimming. If you insist on swimming on your terms, you are going to drown on your terms. So you need to understand how to swim in any environment, to know the protocol of swimming in every environment, and to yield yourself to that protocol in every environment. Of course, these protocols are different from community to community. They are different from environment to environment. But even when you get your product right, the vehicle to which you communicate that is very important. So I'll put it all on 5 questions. There are 5 questions you have to put all of this on when you are trying to go into a new environment. The first question is, where is your value? Or in other words, where is the money? Where is the money? Right? Where is the money? Second question is, who is holding it? I'm talking about market segmentation now. I'm talking about market differentiation. I'm talking about your exact definition of your market. Who is consuming your idea? Where is the money? Who is holding it? How do you reach her, or how do you reach him? When I say him or her, I don't mean one person. I mean the demography of using your product or exchanging with your idea. Where is the money? Who is holding it? How do we reach him or her? If we reach him, what do we say? If we reach him, what do we say? Then the last one, if we know what to say, how do we say it? How do we say it? Those are 5 questions you have to take personal if you have to embrace the commitment to go global. Where is the money? Who is holding it? How do we reach him? If we reach him, what do we say? If we know what to say, how do we say it? Those are 5 questions. And when I say, what do we say? I mean, your narratives. I mean your brand promises. I mean your brand payoff. I mean Coca-Cola says refreshing. What do you say? You know, what is the narrative you are taking out to people? And then how do you take it out? You need to go on social media. You need to embrace some video presentations. You need brochures. How do you say it? Some things you cannot say on Friday. If you work in the Middle East, you can't be committed to being loudest on Friday. If you want to be loudest on Friday, nobody's going to hear you in the Middle East, because you have to know that they have a culture that doesn't allow anybody to want to hear anything commercial on a Friday afternoon. So you have to understand that and you can put value on Sunday in the Middle East. You can open a mall on a Sunday morning, you know, in the Middle East and have incredible traction. If you try that on Friday afternoon, you and your staff will have to love yourself that afternoon. So you have to understand each community and how to go in there. Where is the money? Who is holding it? When I say where is the money, I also mean where is the value, because everything is not about money every time. Some ideas are not about money. It's about simple value exchange. It's about reputation capital or goodwill management. So where is the value? Who is holding it? How do we reach him? If we reach him, what do we say and how do we say? I'll put it up there.
This is powerful, Mr. Soriyan. Guys, can somebody put this in the comment box below? Where is the money? Value exchange. Who is holding it? How do you reach your clients? Okay, like Mr. Soriyan had explained to us, you're not going to sit in your room and expect to reach your target or your target clients. You have to step out there. When you reach him, what do you say? So you have to have the right product that he's looking for. And how do you say it? The narratives, positioning, your brand. How do you say it? Your appearance. How do you say it? Behavior. Are you civil? How do you say it? Communication. How do you say it? Are you emotionally intelligent? All of that is very important in how you communicate and position yourself globally. And I want to believe that, guys, you are as loaded as I am this morning, Mr. Soriyan. Come on, we need to bring you back. And I know that you have such a busy schedule. I don't even know how we're gonna do this, but you're gonna have to beat me up on this because you have to come back. There's just so much that you have. And guys, I want to let you know that Going Global is actually a conference.
Yes.
And it's a training program. And this is coming up here in North America for the very first time very soon. I'm going to announce the dates to you. So if this is something that you're interested in, and we had a question from Sikani, but I want to believe, Sikani, that we've been able to deal with that question. The question was, what ways do you help people change their mindset to go global? But I know that we have answered those questions as we were talking about this. But thank you so much for your contribution. And thank you, Morel from London, UK. I really enjoyed this session, guys. If you want information about all of the trainings that we do, because we have culture trainings, we have civility trainings, train the trainer programs. Many people send me emails and messages, Louisa, I want to do what you do. Yes, it is available for you. I have a train the trainer here in Virginia. We have one in Dubai, and we have one coming up in Nigeria. Look at that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Now, if you're interested in having the same program in your organization, send me an email. It's louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. If you're interested in the conference that is coming up, the Going Global Conference, and this is just going to be for a limited number of people. So it's going to be a first come, first serve. So please send me an email. It's louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. We're going to have a page for it and kind of start up a campaign for it because this is a conference that is so popular in Africa and in other parts of the world. And we're bringing this to North America because you guys deserve the best. And thank you so much, Karen, for being here. It's so good to have you in the house. Thank you, Femi Jai, for being here. It's so good to have you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Diana. Thank you so much. It's so good to have you. Thank you, Samuel. It's so good to have you in the house. And guys, I can see a lot more people jumping on. Hello, Sharon. Thank you so much for being here. Now, if I haven't mentioned your name, guys, I just want to let you know that I love you and I really do appreciate your making out time to be here with me every Mondays and Fridays. And let me tell you, I hate to let you go, but we have to be civil. and so that Mr. Soriyan would come back. Because if we do not respect his time, he
Yes.
might not be here again. But Mr. Soriyan, thank you. I am really honored.
Thank
And
you.
I cannot thank you enough for making out time so early in the morning to be
Yeah.
here and share this great contents that you have, valuable contents. And guys, if there's something that you want to remember as an entrepreneur, if you're on this show right now or you're watching this on replay, when you want to put out your product out there, it's not about the money, it's not about the price, it's not about your competition. It's about the value that you bring.
Yeah.
It's about the experience that you bring. It's about the solution. What are they looking for? Are you providing a solution or not? That's something that you're going to have to think about. And that's what Mr. Soriyan has shared with us this morning. So you cannot hide. If you are one of those who just kind of used to leave our business in the box, in our email, in our iPad and lock it up, no, guys, bring it out, dust it up, and we're ready to go global. So thank you for hanging with me today. Thank you. Thank you, Morel. Thank you, everyone who has joined us from different parts of the world. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you all. And thank you, Mr. Soriyan. And I'm going to say, have a wonderful day.
You're welcome. Thank
Bye
you.
for now. Thank you so much. Thank you.